Hello and welcome to the video. So the Brakeys Game Jam was about to start, and I was deciding that this year I was going to do a game jam. And although I missed the first jam from Brakeys, I wasn't going to miss this one. So as soon as I found out when this jam was starting, I waited, and then the theme was revealed to be Rewind. Honestly, my first thoughts on this theme was that it was cool. However, I soon found out that it was a lot harder to think of creative ideas for than I first thought. If you don't know what game jam is, the concept is simple. Typically, you have a set time limit and a theme. In this case, I had 7 days to make a game themed around Rewind. You may wonder how people don't cheat and upload a game that was made before. Well, you don't. It's really based on trust, and I think you can tell when the theme is being forced rather than being very obvious. So without further ado, here's what I made. Welcome to Rift Boy, a 2D puzzle platformer where you have a rift gun which opens up portals that rewind a place to what it was like before. For example, a blocked off cave was not blocked off before. If you'd like to play the game for yourself, you can check out the link below to my itch page, and if you enjoyed it, why not hit that like and subscribe button as well. Thanks. The assets were licensed by Phil Giarrusso and some from the Unity asset store. Links will also be down in the description. Those are great asset creators and you should check them out. With that said, let's get into how this week of this game jam went for me. Unfortunately, I was unable to use my computer on the first day of the jam, but I was able to brainstorm different ideas. I wanted to make a game where you would rewind the abilities that the enemies threw at you, including the trajectory. So if you got hit in the head right in front of you, then you would throw the bullet back right out in front of you. So I jumped straight into creating a prototype, and as you can see here, you get hit by a bullet that is coming from above you and then rewind it back out. The next day, I decided to work on character rotation and getting the bullet to rotate with the player. I also imported some placeholder sprites to get a feel for how it could be. But by this point, it was pretty obvious that I wasn't liking how this project was turning out, so I decided to throw it in the trash. Oh, hey, you forgot something. So halfway through day 3, I created this new prototype. I had both the rifts working and the movement done. You could only collide with platforms that were visible. Hold up, what the f? Then came day 4. This is where a lot of things happened. I first created a combat system where you could kill enemies, then I imported the sprites that I was going to use. I then went and created all the player animations and got them working somewhat smoothly. I then tweaked the sword system to work as a punch system. Then I made a portal gun which shoots out the rifts rather than you puking them out. I then animated the bullet for that, unnecessary but a nice touch I'd say. And then finally I added the enemy sprite to the mushroom, and this is the result from day 4. On day 5, I made the system for objects that were in the present to disappear when rifted, and then started creating the enemies. I started with the mushrooms. It hides when it sees you and you can only hit it when you're behind it. I also wanted to make it so you could hit them in the past by removing their tops in the rift, but I did not have time to implement that feature. As soon as the mushroom was done, I started working right on the carrot enemy. This enemy was much easier to make as he just follows you around when he sees you, rather than the more complex mechanic that the mushroom has of hiding. I wanted to make the carrots jump on you to attack, but due to time limits I just had to make them square up on you, which is a bit buggy but gets the job done. I spent a lot more time tweaking the colliders of the enemies so that you would just slide off them, which is a bit of a waste of time as it still does not work fully if you jump on them or if they jump on you. Please stop. Most of my time on day 5 went into majority of the AI for the enemies. This includes making them walk back and forth doing their behaviors, as well as attacking or hiding from the player. This was the first time I spent making complex behaviors integrated into the state machines that Unity already had built in for animations. But after some research, I realized it was actually not too difficult, as I had already done the animations, so it was simply about writing the code on top of them, which I thought was just a case of crunching through it. At the end of the day, this was the result for how the carrot behaved, and this was the result of how you behaved with this tree, which was not there in the past. However, I had 1.5 days left with no levels, UI, title screen or sound, so I really had to work fast to get this done in time with a decent amount of levels for the jam. On day 6, the final, second to last day, I overhauled the UI, created a health bar, a lives indicator and made sure it worked fine. However, I had no way to regain health, lives or any sort of collectibles. To solve that, I created 3 collectible items to gain health or lives or coins, because everybody loves collecting coins. As well as changing the past world to black and white because I thought that was much more retro feeling and obvious that it was the past in that way. But at the end of the day, I had these 3 items and they worked great. I made it so you could only gain health, of course, if you had lost some. And that was basically all of the features I had put into this game. I had roughly 11 hours of time before the jam was closed at 11 AM. It was midnight and I had to wake up at 8 AM, so in reality I had 8 hours of time to create 3 levels, and a start screen, and a game over screen, and an end screen. Spoiler alert, I managed to do it. Was I tired? Yes. Should I have planned my time better? Completely. So while I show you the time lapse of me creating the tutorial level, let me talk about my thoughts on the jam. Did I enjoy the jam? Yes. I very much enjoyed the work I created, and the way it turned out was much better than I initially thought it would be. And I also learned so much about Unity in such a short period of time. I think it was great. However, some takeaways from the jam is that I do need to be better at planning and fleshing out my ideas on paper before making them into a prototype or game. That way I would be better at managing my time as well as the workload throughout the jam. Because if you couldn't tell already, I did most of it at the end. Overall, I learned a huge amount about Unity, myself, and the way I like to work. Would I do another jam? 100%, and I definitely encourage everyone to try one, no matter what stage of programming you're at. It's a good learning process and gets you to make games to add to your portfolio. That's all I wanted to say in this video, so thanks for watching, and play Riftboy if you're curious. If you've enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button to let me know, and if you enjoyed my content, then why not also subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.